All right, guys, welcome to this month's MSEM Decklist stream.
Really smooth as butter delivery there, Ricky. Hello.
I'm trying to talk slower because apparently I talk way too fast.
I think that there's no two ways around it sometimes. Oh,
Yeah.
would we like everyone to introduce themselves then?
But do you want to talk about the changes first? The
Oh,
balance
sure.
patch?
Actually, no. I think it's better for us to introduce ourselves first, so we can match voices to names for people who aren't familiar.
Fair? Yeah.
Well, I'm Post Cannon Girl. You may know me from 1 million GP top 8s and 0 GP wins.
Do you have a million GP top 8? I mean, I guess you do frequently top 8.
Yeah. I don't know the count, but that's because I lost count.
Okay. But yeah, so who else is here? Truk, right?
I am Truk. I have top 8 GPs many times also, but less, and 1 also 0. Hello.
Well, I'm Ricky. Okay. Yeah, you can go first. So you're the new player, right?
All right. Yeah, I'm Country. I'm new here. I've not won or top 8 any GPs because I haven't played in any GPs.
Yeah, so this is going to be very exciting to see how you react to all the cards.
Notably coming from Canadian Highlander as a background.
Yeah.
I have seen you around.
That would make sense.
Yeah. And for me, I'm Ricky Risser. I mean, you probably know who I am, right? We don't need to do any further explanations.
It's on your it's a stream on your channel. Yeah. We're the guests. That said.
Okay. So do we want to talk about the changes this month? Because I actually have a screenshot up of the change log now, so people can actually see
changes.
Okay, so I think a lot of these changes were just like, we'll say, very foreseen, right? I think Chaos Module, Kaylin, and Beyond the Veil were all part of a coalescence of cards that people had been flagging down for a couple months now, so I imagine this was just that coming to a head. Egg of Avarice had received significant suspicion in past and now has been hit, although not to unplayability, as some may say.
Yeah.
Merrily was a card that was printed a little bit undercosted and has now been costed up. And
yep.
And also 0 Scatter of Seed.
Yeah, Zera.
Oh, and
yeah, Jira was also a card that had become recently significantly more problematic thanks to a Twist the Threads Jira deck that was like, I'll be honest, head and shoulders stronger than basically any other iteration of Jira combo that I've ever seen.
Yeah, so that ends the reign of Zera. 2019, right?
I don't know.
When was Zera printed anyways? Yeah, 2007, Rep Zera, 2017 to 2025.
Yeah. I mean, I think the actual answer was that, like, Jira was waiting for a modern combo shell that was actually any good, and then we got one, so.
And it got nerfed before it even saw play in a GP because it got discovered between GPs. So, I mean, that's both bad because we don't get to record it and see it in a GP, but also good because we don't have to.
Yeah, we don't have to get into it in GP, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably enough talking about past changes, right?
Cradle, notable.
Oh yeah,
Cradle targets enter taps now as a sort of speed.
Cradle 4 got hurt.
And also 0 was pre-hit as a measure to cap a combo deck that never was. 07 to that one. With that all said, I think it's about time we start.
Yeah, so let's go from top. We have styles first, running
Neon Chlorite Burn.
Yeah.
With Marina's FGP tech alongside an otherwise fairly standard Neon Chlorite, like low to the ground burn suite.
Yeah.
Rather the bigger NCK burn shells, but
wait, is the main deck just from my league list?
I wouldn't know. I haven't. I do not remember the particulars of your league list.
I mean, you can just look at the Decklist channel right now. Yeah, I think it's exact 60. The sideboard is different though, in that they're running Confront the Riddle Master, which
the Riddle Master.
Oh, this is a card that I've always been saying is bad, but maybe we will see Confront the Riddle Master do something somewhere.
I still don't. I still feel like
I still think it's bad.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, no, I look. I was being very nice. I think Confront the Riddle Master is a fucking awful card. But it's burn, so strong 7.5 for me as always. I think I basically always give it a 7.5 or an 8.
I actually find it interesting that they cut Exhilarating Presciences for the Confronts, because I feel like Exhilarating Prescience is one of the strongest sideboard cards in burn.
I agree with
because
that.
Because it lets you transform into a control deck against creature decks.
No, wait. I think Prescience is a really good card. I think playing fewer Presciences is a little unfortunate, but you know.
I'll give it 4 Chili Peppers because it's my deck, so I mean I can't complain too much.
I gave it 2 because it's
who's the new guy? Cat and Tree. Okay.
Even though it's running.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, so are you in the spreadsheet right now?
I am.
Okay, so you get to give your spiciness ranking to the deck.
It feels very simple, like aggressive 1-cost creatures and then a bunch of modal either hit face or get rid of blockers with 1 mana removal. Yeah. I do like burn, but it is, just burn.
Okay, so what would you give it?
I'll actually give
it I do like burn, so like a 6.
Sure.
Oh, you're giving more spiciness out of 10, huh?
I was supposed to give some other
5.
Yeah, out of 5 here.
Well, I mean,
okay.
The other 10 is for a qualitative evaluation here.
Yeah, I'm not doing qualitative. There's no way.
Yeah, move the to the ranking column, because you're doing all the rankings for us.
Oh, I guess I am.
Yeah.
Well, then next up we have a returning deck list from the last GP, the Mono Black Salome Villainy deck. So Salome breaks the lies, not Salome herself, but unfortunately fewer Salome breaks the lies. I think that might be a mistake. Beyond that, it is as it was a month ago, right? It is just a control deck that is tapping out for hand attack and removal proactively, and then sealing down the game with Villainy, with Ball's Descent, and with Salome targets. So,
are you going to keep pronouncing it Ball's Descent? Because every time you say that, I chuckle.
Because I'm saying it like that specifically to evoke that meaning, yes. That said, I think we said quite a lot about this last time. I have less to say about it now that we've already gotten that out, but
yeah.
I think it is a strong deck, and Villainy, I would say a well-built Villainy deck is like the most classic 7 we have, right? Really, really just like good at what it's good at, and it's good at things that are generally going to be good for most MSEM metas.
So yeah, I mean, I'm still going to give it a higher than normal spiciness ranking, because Salome Breaks the Lies still hasn't gotten boring yet. But if Nyx keeps running the same deck over and over, I think we're going to drop next month. So give it 3 chili peppers. I mean, to be fair, Villainy is also a fun deck to commentate because it's like one of those decks that has lots of things that can do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not a lot of things, but it has plays. And also, talking about doing commentary about hand attack while we already know what's in both players' hands is very fun. Because we can chastise the players for making choices that they wouldn't have known, they wouldn't have info about.
Well,
yeah.
I'm. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of a tutor package, especially something like Slum Breaks the Lies. But if I'm not wrong, I think it hits. Oh, it hits Bowser, which is fun.
Is it?
Yeah,
Wait,
and
it does.
Valdez.
Oh, Valdez, right?
Yeah, Valdez, Xanagan, Kajiwara, and or I and fucking Paul's Descent.
Yeah,
are all valid targets, and they're good targets. They're really strong targets.
that's fun. I'd like a tutor package.
Yeah.
I do like having more than 4 tutor hits, but it's good to keep those to things that are actually like good.
Yeah, I imagine a very common play is Salome Breaks the Lies, getting Valdez, and then just pinching pennies to trigger the 2 spells.
Oh yeah, that's something you can do.
Yeah, this is like a bread and butter Salome play.
I don't think
I really like tutors, so.
All right.
Anyway.
So Cat, you're giving 5 chili. Nice, or 4 chili peppers. Yeah, that's pretty nice.
Onwards, we have this mono black unearthed deck, presumably with a little bit of heritage from the sort of Dodger originated red black unearthed shells. They historically used the Torment lands and then the 1 mana discard as cost spells, and since we're in mono black here, presumably so we can enable Emissary and Auric Soulweaver.
We do have the Deform Sanity.
Is that all though?
We only have the Deform Sanity as a 1 mana discard as cost, so we're playing more ways to mill with the Pestilent Scavenger and the Inish 2. And then we are playing a little bit more to reasonably cast our 3-drops, which the other deck could, the previous iterations could do as well, but it seems to be a significantly larger part of the plan here, given that Auric Soulweaver and Bloodjade Prophet are historically just straight up powerful.
Yeah.
I'm not huge on Find Happiness and Misery here, if I'm honest. I think that might be going a little bit too in on
the mill plan.
No, a little bit too in on trying to maximize card quality in a way that makes it ineffective as a mill spell. I just am not sure if you want to be investing 2 mana in a deck like this into something that doesn't affect the board at all, right?
Yeah, good point.
The board, doesn't affect your opponent's hand. Doesn't affect your opponent, doesn't progress your own game plan beyond just milling and drawing, which is powerful, but I'm not sure powerful enough for 2 whole mana in a 19 land aggressive deck.
Also, Auric Soulweaver, I don't think I've seen Auric Soulweaver in previous Unearthed iterations before. And
no, this is, I imagine, why they've gone mono black rather than the traditional black red or black white.
Yeah, but is it is that actually good? Because I don't think, because
it's an idea I'm willing to hear out, right? Because I do think Auric Soulweaver is a powerful card, but it's a powerful card that is exponentially more powerful on turn 2 than it is on turn 3.
Well, what? So you're getting out on turn 2, and you need to, I guess you get to cast a spell alongside it or something?
I mean, yeah, I think the ideal curve is you cast it on, you put it on the field on turn 2, and then you get to draw a card the same turn, and then you untap with it and you go crazy.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see it happening.
Yeah, I think it's an idea I could see working. I think I would just have to see it in action to see how consistent it is and maybe run some numbers on that. But I'm not going through hypergeometric calculations on a fucking live stream.
Yeah, they're also running Distorted Fantasy in the sideboard, which is a card that we haven't seen before.
I love this card. I think this card.
Oh wait, each player discards. Each player discards.
Yeah, this card's fucking fantastic. Wow.
Sal's left a
Nice
something in chat. Yeah. Sal says that they changed something in the list and went 5-0 with it in League. Okay, well, I trust you, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I would just need to see how consistent it was, and good idea though. I think a really strong idea. My qualitative ranking will.
I'm going to get 5 Chili Peppers because I mean it's got Distorted Fantasy in the sideboard. I've never seen that card before, and the Auric Soul Weaver plan seems really fun if it ever works out.
I'm fairly.
I decided to run Distorted Fantasy because it discards and it targets.
Oh, Asti, you're here. Okay, yeah,
I joined at just the right time.
Nice.
It's good shit. It's good tech. I think beyond the like little bits of clunkiness here and there, I really like this idea. I really like this concept. I'll give, at the very least, the archetype as a whole a 7. The specific deck list maybe like a 6.5, just because of certain points it loses, and I think it's a strong idea, but
yeah,
what is
a strong idea that could be further.
Okay.
Asti, what is Mind's Contagion doing here? Like, what's the game plan with that?
It's a profane emissary target.
It's a demon.
Yeah, it's a
demon.
Yeah. Target that is a reasonable card.
There's some matchups where Mind's Contagion can do a lot of work, and like it's a flying 2-power creature off of Profane Emissary.
Like it is something to find a Profane Emissary that is I think in this deck significantly more powerful than in the mid-range shells that see this sort of piece of tech. Because it's actually going to have haste a lot of the time.
Yeah, good point. Also, what about the 2 Deadwood Terrors? So, how do you set it on 2 exactly?
I think I just end up removing the Dusk Lieutenants and adding in the Deadwood Terrors. I didn't spend that much time thinking about this list because school, but I think that's the only real difference between the previous list and this list was deciding the Deadwood Terror is totally worth running. But I'll probably end up maybe going down like whatever card I decide is mid when I play matches.
I think that realistically, I think the worst cards in the deck are Most Important Prince and Find Happiness and Misery.
Yeah, I was thinking.
I'm not huge on Prince as an unearthed target. I think you would probably do better to max out on Soul Weaver and Bloodjade.
Yeah.
I'm always big on.
It's basically just the land cycling on it for me. Like,
I understand.
Like turn 1 Deform Sanity, cycle a Most Important Prince, and 3 mana is like the number you want to be reaching because you've all of your good cards are 3 mana. So if you're not unearthing, you're casting.
Like I understand that. I just think it's a little underpowered for a deck like this, right? And I would get either some amount of Deadwood Terror or both, or of the Soul Weavers and the Bloodjades.
Gal, you're being a bit staticky now. Yeah. Anyway, so I guess that's everything we want to say about the deck, right? Nasty. Okay, well, God has to reconnect now. But yeah, Asti, so
feedback. I don't know if that's just me, but
I'm also being actually I might need to reconnect then. All right, I guess we all reconnected.
Yeah, that fixed it for me.
Yeah. So personally, I just really want to see the game where, or post-board game where you board in Distorted Fantasy and your opponent goes 1 drop, you Distorted Fantasy on turn 1, blow that up, discard your Auric Soul Weaver, and then turn 2, unearth it, and play something alongside it.
Hello? Am I audible?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
You are audible.
Is there...
Oh dear. I might need to reconnect again, or maybe you need to reconnect. Yeah. I guess Assie's heading out because of internet issues. Understandable. So yeah, Profane Unearth, 5 Chili Peppers. I think we're done talking about that deck, right?
Yeah, I think we're...
Alright, so moving on to Scribble's deck.
Oh, by the way, do I sound fine?
I might need to reconnect.
Yeah, to me.
We need to reconnect again, I guess. Sorry guys for technical difficulties. I mean, I didn't really prepare when going into the stream, so it's to be expected, but... Alright, hopefully this works.
Oh, that works a lot better.
You sound significantly better.
Okay, cool. I guess I have to actually restart Discord then. But yeah, so let's talk about Scribble's deck.
Well, yeah, onwards. This is using the Satrapy mana base that was sort of popped up significantly in the pre-season to last GP, but did not actually see a ton of play. We were seeing it sort of come to fruition here in a Whimsy control deck, which
Ooh, Whimsy.
I'm big on Whimsy. I think this card is extremely powerful if you are not just like playing it stupid and trying to mill your opponent to death.
So what is Whimsy doing here?
It's a card advantage engine.
Doesn't seem that reliable. Like, how many blue things do it have?
You only need to reveal any instant or sorcery, not a blue one. Yeah.
I see.
And there are 5 blue force as well.
There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 blue spells in this deck besides Whimsy itself. So you're triggering it. You're triggering it enough, and it provides you with some inevitability, so you don't actually have to be big on pressure. Like, milling your opponent out is nice about it, like, don't get me wrong, but you're not trying to turbo mill your opponent. You're using it to create significant card flow for your control deck.
Also worth noting that of the blue cards, some of them can be cast twice, such as End of Days and Reveal Eternity as well. So even more Whimsy cards.
You mean A Flawless World and
Reveal Eternity.
As well.
And Reveal Eternities both do double cast. And I think 27 might be a little high on the land count, especially with 4 Satrapy Cyclers. I think you could probably cut down 1 or 2 at least.
I mean, you know what they say. People are usually playing less lands than they should. So I guess Scribble just decided to take that advice to heart. Yeah,
I am not a believer that people are actually usually playing less lands than they should. I think that, I would love to see some lands cut for more Dayongs, but other than that, I think that this is a really strong deck. I think that this is an idea that I have been sort of big on for a while as an idea, but I haven't ever brought it past the ideation stage. So,
here
it is past the ideation stage.
I'll give it
Congrats.
3 chili peppers because I don't feel like commentating a control game. Even though it does... Actually, yeah, this... Whoever gets locked out by this deck is going to feel horrible. Because
This deck feels great for content, though, because you get to watch someone get milled out twice.
I think, like, the first time that Scribble casts a counter spell and gets to draw a card off that, the opponent's just going to get tilted, and then that's going to cause him to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to play against Scribble deck, but I do really like the Atrophy land base, so I'm giving it a 4.
It's a deck I'm really
Five.
Yeah, I also think especially you don't need this many lands when you're not on fetches. That's my big complaint. Besides that, yeah, I think this deck is strong. I think that I don't want to match up against this either because it's just a bad matchup for me. So
Yeah. Okay. So let's go on to the next person. Taya Belly's Rectals Unearth.
This is another deck with lineage to that Dodger deck I mentioned. So this one is the traditional red-black, but with I'll call it suspicious lineup of 3-drops, rather than any of the traditionally powerful ones. We're on green.
I'd say that this deck tries to assemble a sort of pseudo combo of Grin and Ilkan Troubleshooter. Yeah. And having both them out because you get the doubles on the target, so it doubles the Troubleshooter damage. And so your Distant Thunders end up doing 7 damage each.
I
guess that's a line, but if you're trying to go for it...
I just don't think that Grin is a good card. I just think Grin is a bad card. And in this deck specifically, you really want your 3-drops to be immediately powerful.
Well, no, the problem here is that all the good Unearthed 3-drops have been nerfed.
Well, no.
I have been killed by this deck multiple times in League.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
I thought Grin was bad, but I got killed a few times by him. So.
I think also this deck should definitely be on 4 Ghoulish.
Unearthing?
I think Ghoulish is a mandatory 4-of if you're playing an Unearthed target that doesn't do anything on ETV, but does do something on attacks.
I mean, actually, you could just be running, what's that guy called again? Reckless Experimentalist?
I think Stir the Mixture, is that it?
No, that's Instant Speed one, right?
Oh, but
yeah, I think that's what they should be running.
Another deck that really should not be on Find Happiness in Misery. I am
this
a fan of the way this is constructed.
Not at all a Find Happiness deck.
Wait, they have 2 Ghoulish Unearthings. So you're saying they should go to 4?
Yes, I think
4 Ghoulish.
100%.
I also think they should go to 4 Distant Thunders because Distant Thunders is actually your best discard spell. And
it's also the best card in your deck if you're playing fucking Ekin Troubleshooter. I am not a fan of the way this list is constructed, and I think it is at most going to get a 5.5 for me. I think that this is not a list that is nearly well constructed enough to realize the potential of the Unearthed cards or even these specific targets.
By the way, God, do you like the one of Valdez for some reason?
I don't. I really don't. No. Just another perplexing decision in a series of very perplexing decisions.
The one of Valdez is so that you can find it with Salon Breaks the Lies, obviously.
And the one of Pay Up is so that you can have one Pay Up in your deck.
Not find it. So you can't find it.
The one of Pay Up is because you don't want to draw Pay Up, and so you're only playing one, so you don't draw it.
It's for fun.
Yeah,
it's
so that you feel the thrill. You feel the thrill of having a Pay Up in your stunning hand.
Pay Up is actually in here so that it can be promoed. That's why Pay Up's in the main deck.
It's from
Is as a sort of promo smuggling scheme.
But Pay Up already has the promos. I don't know if you can promo a card multiple times.
No, you can definitely promo a card multiple times. I've been in the octagon asking for some shit like that before.
Well, I mean, you can do the silver promos multiple times, but I don't know if you can do the gold promo of a same card multiple times.
From 2 different people, you can, yes.
Has that happened before?
I think.
Oh, I don't think
That
so.
said,
Yeah.
I think it happened. It's happened with some burn spell or another. Point is, I think we should move on from this deck
sure.
before it ranges into bullying.
Now we get on to Bant Concord.
Bant
the
Concord.
sort of alleged Kalen successor. I love Steward of Empire's Cradle. I think this is a card people should have been playing fucking yesterday. But like, this is the deck that's playing it now. This is like the deck that people have come to. It's a successor to Kalen that is using Steward, the frankly fucking egregiously broken card, Steward of Empire's Cradle. Card I have like 4 decks in the works with that I just have not
that card is insane.
put time into.
Steward and walks on a Nimbus. Yeah.
I think the only reason that this deck could possibly like not do very well is like how strong enchantment removal can be.
This deck dies to rot.
Yeah, I was say this deck dies to rot, which I'm not sure how many there are. This deck also feels like it is going to be fairly weak to aggression, right? Significant aggression early on. And it's going to be weak to, like, especially aggression that can pair with removal targeting Steward, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they've got Steward and Soul Reader as must-remove targets.
Man, don't you love when your 1-drops are must-removes?
1-drops? Oh, Soul Reader, yeah.
Soul Reader.
Yeah, you can copy with Petals of a Heart.
Yeah, Petal of a Heart is
extremely messed up.
Is a card I was like huge on release, with specifically cards like Unexplored Regions and Chronicles. So we'll see how it does.
Yeah.
It's extremely messed up, and what I found in my testing, of a different deck which played some of the same cards, that what you can do is if you curve Soul Reader into Petal of a Heart and they don't get removed, end up turning 1 copy of a card into 4 copies of a card.
Ah, yeah, and they keep replicating it. Wait, that's actually hilarious. You just get infinite Soul Readers.
A card I really like. The same deck is 2 more times in a row, so I'm sorry to Requiem and Toasty, but you did not get selected at random or by alphabetical order, I don't know, as the representative for your deck.
I think it's in submission order, right?
All of you get a 7, though. Just
what's with
as a unit.
Yeah. What's
all of you get a 7. I think this deck is powerful. I think it has its matchups. I think it might be a little wheel spinny, as these decks tend to do, and thus get aggroed out. I think it also might be a little wheel spinny, as these decks tend to be, and get like locked down, right?
Okay, so I'm going to give Ange and Requiem 5 chili peppers because this deck's quite I like this how this deck works. I'm going to give Toast only 4 chili peppers though, because they didn't use the Toho art for the cards that have Toho arts.
Unforgivable.
Yeah.
Toasty has done one thing that I think is quite odd, which is the other 2 decks are the exact same. But Toasty has cut Seek the Maker's Egg for another masterpiece.
Wait, did
I don't think Seek the Maker's Egg is all that, honestly. So
also,
I don't think
it's one difference between all the decks. It's one difference, so it's something.
Yeah. It's something, and I agree with Toasty that Seek the Maker's Egg is like a sort of a semi card, because like it's really good with Steward and it's really whatever without it.
Oh yeah, actually something else I noticed. So in the sideboard, they're running 4 Shikai Redoubts because you can bounce them with your rail lines. That's actually
really fun.
Yeah, like you drop this thing down early as a land, and then once you need to grave hate someone, you just bounce it with your rail line and hold it in hand.
Nice.
And as expected, Caitlin Whirlwind was completely killed by the nerf and won't be appearing at playoffs in any sideboards.
Kaylin.
I mean, being demoted to a sideboard card is a pretty big drop from
It is a nerf.
drop set blocking people.
It is a drop. It is a drop, but like, come on. We know that Kaylin is going to eat up some fucking matchups. Like, Kaylin is a card that I don't think has actually been nerfed to death.
It's also running 3 Beyond the Veils in the sideboard. I guess for the Kaylin plan, you bring in the Beyond the Veils and Kaylins, and you get to relive the good old days of Esper Kaylin.
From the good old days of 2 fucking weeks ago.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving on. We have Cat running back Legends. Seems to be exactly the same 75. No, with I think a land cut ? But yeah, we are on. I think
like
exactly
Legends, so I'm getting it.
Oh no, with 4 Lost in Seeking. Yeah, I have become extremely convinced that Legends is insanely more powerful than it was even just immediately before Lost in Seeking, when it was already, in my opinion, one of the most powerful creature aggro decks in the fucking format. But you know, it
did its thing this last GP. I apologize, Gal.
Yeah.
You ran into the deck that plays 2-mana removal that gets bounced.
Yeah. No, but that's actually not why. I lost primarily because because of the other issue with this deck, which is that I'm fucking cursed whenever I play it, and I don't draw lands. So hopefully somebody else who's playing it will not experience this problem.
Yeah, maybe they actually will be able to get some good performance out of this deck, and you can be proud that you built the deck.
I made it to top cut last month. I'm like on this exact 75. Like,
yeah,
I am not unhappy with the way I performed. I just also think that that I got stopped by, if I remember correctly, the curse on this deck. That said, I think it's powerful. I think it's flexible. I think it can grind better than it looks. I think it plays through board wipes better than it looks. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll give it 4 chili peppers because I mean it's like, it's because I'm kind of bored of Legends, but at the same time it's sort of a new build that the new cards breathe new life into it, so maybe it works out. Yeah. Let's see. Cat in a Tree, are you also...
You want to speak? Want to speak on this?
Yeah, so I'm a little bit worried about my first matchup against this deck. This deck is pretty scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this deck is really scary. It's really wonderful.
Jack. I'm a big Jack fan. I think that card is extremely good at closing out games, especially in a Legend deck.
Yeah,
I'm very worried about this deck.
Yeah, this is like one of the oldest like good archetypes I ever built.
I even remember playing it for a while before, or back when Lisa was only 2 mana. After it got nerfed, I kind of moved away from the deck because it's no longer completely bustle.
Yeah, it's just really good instead of format ruining Lisa.
Yeah.
But you know.
Okay,
we know how you operate.
Let's move on.
Moving on, we have. We also have Zufia. Fucking Zufia. I don't. It's pronounced like coyote, but I'm forgetting how the word coyote is pronounced suddenly. Yeah, Zufiote. Fucking is on dragons, just the same dragons list as before. With
is this like decked by Purple Murasaki?
Yeah, this is the purple deck, but I think actually literally exactly the same.
Didn't Purple say that they wanted to make some changes or something, or they would have made some changes? Well, I forgot what they said, so.
I imagine so, but this is, I think, exactly the purple deck, and I'm a fan of the purple deck. I think it's strong. I think it does its thing well. It has a little bit of a problem with running out of steam and draws without prints, but you can make draws with prints fairly plentiful. So.
I wonder what would happen if you tried to stick accelerating prescience into this deck.
Probably powerful things, somewhat, but I also think accelerating prescience is way better in decks with a lot of small spells.
Wait, who's making this noise in the background? Ever. Yeah.
I think that other than that, this deck is very standard. 2 dragons.
Yeah, it's running Tower of Lounge Shadows, which is a card that we don't see often.
Yeah, I think it was in the purple deck though. So.
And also for you guys out there, so Gao, if you're playing this deck and you drop Neon Claw Knight, which option do you choose?
I think you just choose damage every time.
Really?
No, I think this is reduced every time you want your Flames approach.
Well, yeah, I think you want your Flames approach to have its cost lowered, but you're also tapping out on turns 1 through 4, right?
Isn't that actually good for you because that lets you curve a burn spell into your tap out?
This is like a very classic standard juice deck. This is like maybe somewhat consider increasing the damage if you're like being hellbent, but like no, this is the reduced deck.
So would you say like you reduce around 80 to 90% of the time?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I trust you, True, because maybe
Played a lot of Flames approach all night. Yeah. Although it might just be me never drawing land, so who knows?
Yeah. Anyways, so I'll give this 5 chili peppers because it's a purple deck, and you know what I say about purple decks, especially when purple hasn't been super active lately. So purple decks are a lot rarer.
Yeah.
So moving on, I guess. Flashcat is still on Elizabeth ramp.
Yeah.
Did that deck work out for them?
My thoughts have been slightly improved on this deck, but I am still not high.
Wait, never mind. They're on the Verdant Sanctuary build now, so this deck actually has a reason to exist now.
Like, yeah, I like parts. No, it was Verdant Sanctuary last.
Wait, were they? I thought Splashcat was no. Ravos was the one on the Verdant Sanctuary build, right? Let me check.
I don't remember. Either way, I still am not a fan of
even
the threat suite.
I think you don't need threat suite, basically.
Yeah.
You get 2 Bergy, you win.
Well, I mean, yes, I also definitely think that this deck should be on 4 Shivaja, but that aside, I like having a ramp threat suite in a deck like this. I just think it probably should not be Rova.
Oh no, Rova is easily the only one of these threats that are really actually that good. Time to Tribute and Terror Shady Cove are kind of just medium here. Rova keeps you going. Since you're just ramping so much, it's a ritual that busts up your entire board. Gives you a non-Subeshi win.
Yeah, like Robo goes over the top way more than other cards, I guess.
I don't like that Rova wants you to have anything, like needs you to have anything else going on for it to be good. I think that's a philosophy of ramp threat that I generally like to stick to. Is I think if you are ramping 7 for a card, it should not demand anything else of you. It should just be a 7 mana card that is game-winningly powerful on its own.
I mean, Rova is an 8/8.
The way this deck works that you get ahead, then you get ahead more, and then because you're ahead, you can get ahead even more, and Rover just complements that game plan.
Yeah, I think, like, the thing about Rover is like, there are a lot of, even the other 7 and 8 drops in this deck feel like more, like, immediately disruptive to your opponent and more game impactful than Rover is.
Yeah, and like that, and also again, I do another thing about this deck that I'm noting is like I do understand, right, but I am not a fan of Eviana at all.
Fair.
I think that I like that the ratios have been cleaned up somewhat. Still not a fan of Jubaji being at anything like 4. I like the turn spell actually. I think this is a really fantastic deck to have a turn spell in.
Really?
I also agree. I'm not a fan of Viviana here too.
Yeah, I think that in a deck like this that is like that gets more than one land play a turn and has access to functionally infinite lands, you love being able to just take an extra turn.
But why this extra turn? Is this the best extra turn spell of all the ones?
This is the best 5-mana extra turn spell that we have.
We not having any other ones?
There are no other 5-mana extra turn spells.
That are good, right? Like the ones that don't have downsides.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we could do time. The time half of Time and Again might be better than this. But it is triple fucking blue, so...
Yeah, the deck can't do triple blue.
Like, it was deemed uncastable, like, then yes, this is the best one. And I imagine she looked over it and she just deemed that Time and Again was not castable. And so, yeah, this is the best extra turn spell, and I do think that Ramp should be playing more extra turn spells in general, so I am going to be in favor of this, I think, as
okay. 5 Chili Peppers because it's Team Ramp, which is my pet deck, even if it's even though it changed a lot from when I was playing it. Wait a minute. They're not running Ramsey. They aren't running Ramsey, huh? Interesting. Like, I always thought Ramsey is a CM for
I don't think you need Ramsey for this.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm not sure that I don't think that the Verdant Sanctuary decks actually should be playing Ramsey.
Really? I mean, Ramsey, you still get the nut draws with Ramsey Primal Resurgence.
Well, yeah, but like, I don't think that that's what you're playing for.
Yeah, but it's like
nut draw.
Ramsey still supports your main game plan and sometimes lets you nut draw.
Yeah, but she's also, in other ways, kind of shit.
And also helps your Rova boards. Gets you guys for Rova. Right?
And also is an extremely low impact card in a deck that wants to have an overall higher card quality because you're playing a lot of like air.
Fair. Maybe I am just Ramsey pilled.
I think you're a big Ramsey head, and I think that that's negatively impacting your judgment here.
Fair.
That said.
And that said,
I think I will bump up my rating a full point from where it was previously to 6, 6.5 from 5.5. So
yeah. Cat in the Tree. Do you have anything to say?
I'm still thinking about that.
Okay, well, I guess we'll just move on for now. Then you can put it in later.
Yeah, no, I don't think I have anything to say about this other than the Rova versus like the other 7 or 8 drops.
Yeah. So moving on, Game of Chairs. Who's that?
We have one of the new players, I believe, on the Game of Chairs is the new player who came in very interested in Toll Midnight, and so is playing the Vedu as the only target reanimator deck. I like parts of this deck really just a lot. I'm a big fan of Unseen Maniac as a fair plan in Reanimator.
Big fan of Jar Champ.
I would think that I would prefer probably more, just like a larger count of targets, right? Even if it's just more Operation 433 for Vedu, right? I would prefer a larger.
I'd probably play. Yeah, I'd probably play an extra 2 Azos in main.
Yeah, extra 2 Azos, or maybe even again just like a 3-1 Azos Vedu with 4 Operation 433 would be where my mind goes to immediately.
Yeah.
Right. But other than that, I think this deck is very powerful. I'm a big fan. I expressed that, I think, at the time of seeing it. But yeah, I'm a big fan of this. I'm probably going to build my own take on it at some point fairly soon, just because I have a friend who might or might not be significantly interested in it. So, yeah.
I just looking at Unseen Maniac, I think that this card does a very, very good Psychic Frog impression. I think it just seems very good in the Reanimator shell.
Yeah, I think it's a really powerful card that I really like. I think that if you are in the blue-black Reanimator space, it is exactly the place you want to be.
It hasn't seen that much play, despite looking really good.
I know.
It's Unseen, right?
That's
why it's Unseen Maniac.
Thumbs down, but I think that joke is a solid like B+. That said, I think that I hope this deck goes far, because I think it's cool. I really like Unseen Maniac. I think it's one of the coolest cards in the format. Yeah, that's all.
Also, like, they're running 2 Beneath the Zedinas in the sideboard. Like, do you want to run Beneath the Zedinas in these decks that can't self-mill?
Beneath is fine. You're playing a million discard. Like, you're playing you're playing fewer discard outlets than I would personally like, but you're playing enough for Beneath the Zedina to not be dead ever. Like, you can just cast it to get it in the graveyard also. So like, no, I don't.
Yeah, fair.
I don't mind it at all. And like, I understand the plan is to side further into the 1 Azos and the 2 Operation here. I think that I would prefer siding out of the combo rather than siding into it, right? That's all.
Okay.
Moving on, have Cat and Tree here's.
Did I give it a rating? Yeah.
This is MacGuffin's Zoo Soldiers deck.
Ooh.
A couple notable hits here. I'm a fan of playing 4 Real in this archetype and playing a burn spell instead of out of body, but I think that the archetype is powerful.
There is one mistake that I can distinctly say, that I submitted this too early, and I know for a fact that I should have a different card in the sideboard. Bogborn Exorcist, shouldn't have put that in there. I should have put like another graveyard hate spell.
I would say that I like maxing out on your zoos, your like zoos and your reals, but beyond that, I think this deck is really powerful. I think that this is another really strong creature aggro deck. I think that it's one of about a dozen really, really strong, really explosive creature aggro decks. So big thumbs up on that.
It's like really strong creature aggro decks that usually end up not winning a GP because they either got masqued or ran into a deck that had a really good anti-aggro plan.
Yeah, but like, I do think that they're powerful. I think they have a good place in the format.
Yeah.
And I think that this one is among them. I think MacGuffin did a really good job at this. I think that again in this deck I would prefer like a Scorches to Ubes, right?
Yeah, I agree too.
And Reals more to Epoch Wardens, probably.
I will also mention that I have recently played Epoch Warden a few times. The card is much, much better than it looks.
No, it's just like, it is a strong card. I just think Real is a stronger card.
Yeah.
And you need in order to put cards in a deck, you need to remove cards from a deck.
Yeah. The thing I've been noticing is often I side out my Epoch Wardens. But when I do that, I always get my opponent down to like 4 life, and I really could use an Epoch Warden at that point.
Yeah.
So I always side it out, but also I always regret siding out.
Epoch Warden's a great card. I just also think that Riel is a really great card that you should be playing more of.
I'd probably be on 2 Epoch Warden, 3 Riel, I guess.
Yeah. I'd be on 4 Riel, but I think that ratio is like entirely reasonable to be either way on.
I can't see 4 Riel just because they're legendaries, and I don't think it's as important as like a Zoo is.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, 3 mana legendary is not quite what I want to be for.
I'll give it 5 chili peppers because it's a new deck I haven't seen before. Okay, so if Kat, you're giving yourself 5 chili peppers, right?
No, I'm giving it a me rating.
Sure.
I can't rate myself. I can't rate myself.
I always rate myself 5 chili peppers because I'm always going to be recording my games.
That's true.
Yeah. So moving on. Yao is on the 100 card deck again.
Back. I am on Weaver Sack because I have been caught up in I was caught up in a bunch of college shit, so I just did not. This is the deck I submit every time at the start of the month in case I don't find something else to submit, and so I didn't. Maybe I'll redeem it. Redeem it. I got to finals last time I played this. I just didn't win.
Yeah, it was pretty tragic. That finals.
In a really rough game, like rather a really rough non-game. With that said, I think this deck is still just as good.
Did you make any changes?
I don't think I did. No, I think that this deck is just like I didn't actually have any changes I really wanted to make. Like I was thinking about cutting Calamity Rose, and then I got like a perfect example of my Calamity Rose use case.
Yeah, that was amazing. That turn.
Oh God, wonderful. But yeah, no, this deck is really powerful. It does a really gross thing, and it's also really hard to play against. Because you are playing around every card in my deck at once.
Actually, so Cat Entry, do you understand how this deck works just by looking at it? Do you want?
Absolutely not. I understand like some of the lines. Like I know Fireweaver is very strong. I know a lot of like Fireweaver into like Solid Mist or whatever, but I don't know what it's trying to do.
Do you want Jill to explain?
It's basically selective reading
this is the deck. I can handle this. Selective reading what lurks beyond, and as well as Fireweaver and Ren's Radical and Ancestral Council form a tutor suite where almost all of them link into each other. And as a result, we get this extremely harmonious, extreme tutor toolbox deck. It can go to 5 immediate.
Gal, you can use the word Yu-Gi-Oh if you want. We're not like.
It is a Yu-Gi-Oh deck. But I think that it's a little more than that. Just being a sort of a Yugist paradise here. We are going through these Tree Seekers to get to 5 immediately from a 3, and that means that we get to do extremely powerful toolboxing and extremely explosive end games with Kaoro, right? Kaoro meaning we can basically always be producing more value than our opponent if we get going. The decks that beat it by either killing it too quickly, or just having a constant flow of removal and card advantage, or counter magic and card advantage, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, the deck toolboxes it. Every single tutor in this deck tutors basically every card in the deck. like Enran's Reticle can find Selective Breeding, which can find Ancestral Council, which can find What Lurks Beyond. Fireweaver, which can find Fireweaver, which can find Chaos is Your Redemption, and Tali's Command, which can find What Lurks Beyond, which can find every creature in the deck. Right? Every single one of these tutors represents every single other tutor's entire tutor pool.
Yeah. This deck's nuts.
Yeah, this deck's nuts.
Hey, Kat, you should play this deck one day.
I should play this deck. I really like Greenspan's Venus decks. So I really like Selective Breeding and tutors.
Yeah, it's just really hard.
Sure it is.
It's actually harder than the old Dreamside 8-sack builds, because at least Dreamside 8-sack basically, like, you can just auto win a lot in a lot of the lines, but here, like, you actually have your lines actually end, so you have to think about where to end your lines to put you in a position that's most likely to win.
Yeah, and again, it is really like you have a 115 card pool of options all the time, which is, like, obviously that's an incorrect number because of lands and dorks, but you understand the meaning. Like,
yeah, you have a side deck. I mean, you have an extra deck with Fireweaver.
Yeah, you have like a 30 card extra deck because of all your fucking. Well, it's probably closer to 60, but you understand the idea. Like, you have an entire deck at your disposal that you have to be playing. Fucking constantly. It's really wonderful.
Right.
Yeah, and the thing about your extra deck being, like, in your actual deck is if you draw one of the cards, now you have a card in your hand that, like, you would 2 to 4, but now you can just use it straight in your hand, so that makes the line sort of contiguous on what cards you draw.
Yep.
So I guess that's enough glazing that deck, right?
Yeah.
Next up, we have Mono Red Burn. You've already seen this deck.
Is it
another Neon Clawburn deck, again on the FP deck.
Confront the Red Master.
We have already talked about.
Why are people playing Confront the Riddle Master? I thought we already realized that this card, like, back when I first joined the format, I was playing Burn a lot, and I tried out Confront. It's bad. It just doesn't do what you need to do.
Okay. This card doesn't do anything.
I think the reason people are playing Confront the Middle Master is that this and the first one are the exact same list.
Really? No, it's not the same. Oh, wait, it is?
No, it is exactly the same list. It's just on a different fucking art for some cards. Yeah, no, it's...
Alright, 5 chili peppers.
A piece of bad tech that will probably pass by the end of the month. So no need to get any particular way about it, right?
I mean, maybe it'll work. Who knows?
We've got Foxes again.
We have the only good deck in the GP.
Foxes, again, I am not going to evaluate this on its mimetic value because I would be much meaner if that was the case. But I think that as a typal deck, it actually does have some things that basically don't exist otherwise. Namely, Pup of the Marigold Burrow, which is a card that is genuinely, really extremely powerful. I think this deck's biggest problem is that the gap between hands where you draw this and where you don't is like fucking surmountable.
I mean, it also has Chronicles of the Kitsune, which is a really strong card, but probably not in this deck.
But it's not a really strong card in this deck. No, it's a kind of a shit card in this deck. So.
Hey, at least they're using the good art for it.
It's a 1-mana 2/1.
You say that, but then we have things like Keen Red Tail in this deck.
Keen Red Tail. I mean, it's not horrible. It makes it.
No, it is horrible. No,
it makes
it is horrible.
No. Ricky. You can't be. There is no canvassing for this fucking card. It is just not enough. This is not even remotely close to meeting the threshold for being an MSEM playable card. That said, I also am just like, again, not a fan of the like funny fox meme, so I'm also a little bit harsher on it than you all might be. I don't like memes. I like jokes.
I do see like there are often these archetypes where there's one extremely strong like synergy piece like pup, and then it's sort of sacky. And I worry this falls into that.
I don't think Pup makes up for the rest of the deck. Like Pup isn't even that broken, right? It's like just good. It's not busto.
Yeah, we have creature deck with synergy pieces of and above Pup's quality that are just actually good otherwise also.
Like
Yeah.
Merfolk?
Legends, like Merfolk,
Also,
like
wow,
Legends,
3-mana lord.
like soldiers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
I mean,
not a
soldiers
fan.
have like 3 very strong cards, and the rest of the cards don't really do anything.
That's not the case.
I mean, I look through like all the soldiers.
No, yes, I'm calling your deck soldiers.
Yeah, but like the only like thing that actually cares about soldiers is the one card.
Well, yes, but it's a way to refer to the deck. Like it is the name of the archetype.
That's true.
Also,
Like,
yeah. So this deck is also playing 3 Imperial Sieges in the sideboard, so maybe it just gets some wins off of that.
It almost did get an Imperial Siege win off of me, but then it didn't because it didn't do anything. So
yeah.
So
I'll rate it 5 chili peppers for a meme. What? Yeah, sure. 5 chili peppers for the meme. And so moving on. Next person is Truk.
Me.
Is it the same deck? Oh no,
Yeah.
it's not the same deck.
No, it isn't.
it's
This is Hybrid Observer.
It's Hybrid Observer. This deck Fox. I think the Observer deck is still good. Like
Soul Reader in this deck.
I am not.
Soul Reader is actually good in this deck.
I was say I'm not quite sure how the Soul Reader and Pedal plan is going to work out, but I'd be interested in seeing. Right. I think Soul Weaver.
Well, I think like on my second game of this, I managed to get like a second goldfish with this. I managed to get Soul Reader, Petal of the Heart on an unmarked vials, and then you just get to play out 4 unmarked vials on one turn.
Okay.
I understand the situations in which it's powerful.
You get those things, but also Soul Reader and World. Yeah, sorry.
I will just have to see like whether or not it leads to clunky draws, right?
I will also mention that Soul Reader and Wildlife sketches, if you get an unchecked Soul Reader Wildlife sketches,
gorgeous, gorgeous engine, yeah.
Yeah.
Really wonderful.
I'm kind of sad.
Soul Weaver is like spooky.
I'm kind of sad that I didn't get to experiment more with Kalen, the Kalen engine before it got nerfed, because there were so many good things to be bouncing with Kalen. But I guess you have to go back to doing Soul Reader now.
If you don't draw Soul Reader or
1-drop. Oh, cry me a river.
It's a 1-drop.
All right.
If you don't draw Soul Reader, or sometimes if you do draw Soul Reader, that's basically your main game plan. It's just vomiting enough enchantments onto the board and get 1 to 2 observers out of turn 3. And hopefully that should carry you through the rot.
If
really like
I do, this is powerful. This is powerful.
Okay,
Powerful stuff.
I think I might have to reconnect. So. All right, guys, I'm back. Yeah.
Yeah. With like very specific. When I give a 7/5, I usually mean like a deck that has like like some really suboptimal matchups, but really, 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 really powerful. It's like those matchups are common enough to be a significant problem, but not like everything. So you do have places where you get to show off the things that you're really, really good at. And I think this is like a really, really good deck on that level. So good shit.
Yeah, I also, funnily enough, think that having like Battle of the Heart is just a 2-power first striker helps into aggro, notably.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think that having played my fair share of the fucking 2-mana white 2/2 that searches legends in some old fucking ancient combo decks. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, I'd also say I think the cards I'm most unsure on here are probably the Android Bodigas and the sideboard.
Oh yeah, that's what I was about to ask you about.
Yeah, I'm bigger on Android Bodega than most people, but I also am aware of its like all of its sort of nastiest fail cases. So big YMM on that one.
Yeah, and the Ibiza Forge in the sideboard, I think.
I do appreciate that you're playing 4 Beyond the Veils and 1 Soul Reader in the sideboard, so you can just go on the full Beyond the Veil plan if it fits the matchup.
Yeah, I like that.
I was saying the Ibiza Forge. Yeah, the Ibiza Forge is just like, it's a very game-winning card sometimes. You can just have those draws with that. So it's just weak to a thing the deck is often weak to in general. So I put it in sideboard just to shore up those matchups you're already better.
Yeah, good work. Good work.
Okay, hopefully this fixed that, but so are we moving on to the next guy?
Powerful reading.
So Hersey, I guess, right?
What the fuck?
Yeah. Are we all running into technical difficulties right now? Yeah. Okay, I guess everyone has to reconnect now. Sorry guys, technical difficulties. Well,
Wait, hello?
Yeah. Are we back? I think we're all still dying.
Oh, God. Do we want to try and move to the studio booth, see if this changes anything?
Yeah, sure.
Immediately so much better. Night and fucking day. Night and fucking day.
Wait, how does that work? Is there something special?
I have no idea.
I have no idea. Bitrate or some bullshit. I if I was more aware of how Discord works, I would be able to tell you, but I can't. Either way, fucking show's back on. Do every fucking GP Decklist stream in here now,
or commentary, right?
We were at Hersey's, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Hersey's Road to All list again. fast, powerful. A lot of people are just not prepared to get turn 3'd in this format in general. And this is a really good deck at turn 3ing you. I like that we can, to an extent, like side into like this like reanimator plan with Rova and Reclusive Augur.
They're running Rova as their reanimation thing.
I think that it's much better in here where you just have these like random shithead 1/1s that no one wants to remove all the time, and like you don't have to have Field Tender for Rova to have a bunch of like random 1/1s, and you're reanimating Rova rather than casting her. So
they're also...
and I do like the
yeah, go ahead.
I like the Lions Vanguard as your main deck reanimator.
And no, the way the deck plays is you just do Clawing Shaman, returning 1,000,000 creatures, and Lions Vanguard, and you kill them.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's good at it. It's powerful.
It's got Tomb Steward. Is that new?
No, Tomb Steward was in last time. I don't like Tomb Steward very much, but I hope it's good. I just think it's a little bit of a whack 3-mana play.
Also, I love how they're running Conjuring of Locusts in the sideboard. You thought decks lost to Rot? Well, does this blow up those decks better than Rot does?
This is really nasty against some loses to Rot decks, although not the ones that are like creature based, obviously. I
mean, sure they can run Rot in their deck, right? Or no, never mind. They can't Rot. They would need to Rot their own board. So I guess this is like a Rot that doesn't blow up your own creatures.
Yeah, and at that it is very good. And also, it's a way to deal with like persistent pieces of graveyard hate that like stick around a little bit.
Oh yeah, right. This thing wiped out Sigil of Radiance pretty well.
Yeah.
And
like long forgotten.
Although to be fair, like if you're spending 4 mana to wipe out one of those enchantments, you're probably not up on exchange. You want to wipe out board of enchantments.
Exchange, but like I think that the decks that are playing those are often playing other enchantments, especially long forgotten. So like, you know.
They also got Charming Marauder for the single target stuff, I guess.
Yeah, I don't mind this.
I'll give it 4 Chili Peppers. Like, it's a very cool deck, but I'm getting kind of bored of it.
Skill issue. It's this deck fucking rules. All right, we've got Zangi on ninjas.
Well, it's Merrily because it's 2 mana now.
Yeah, Merrily is now a card you can play in this deck because it's a 2-mana spell.
So it fetches out all your monuments.
Fetches out your monument. Fetches out your Seraphina's Gift.
I guess you got the one of Seraphina's Gift in case you run out of good monuments to fetch.
No. Seraphina's Gift is absurd. It means you have unparalleled card selection in a deck that really appreciates having unparalleled card selection.
Yeah, but like, so once you get Merrily hit, and do you fetch Seraphina's Gift first or Monument first?
Capital I would say probably capital I, capital D. It depends.
Fair.
It depends on what your board is like, what your hand is like, etc. I don't know what's up with Rattlecage Terror. I think it's maybe fine. I'm not huge on this card. But beyond that, I think this is fairly standard for ninjas. Persecutor is new, but it's a card that I think that ninjas can take a lot of advantage of. I had a ninja
4 mana.
Yeah, but it's 4 mana that immediately does 2 powerful things, and then with Monument, it draws you 2 cards every cycle.
What you cast? Oh, right, it does.
Yeah, no. Like every time you ninjutsu, every time you monument.
Excuse me, it's not ninjutsu? That's legally distinct?
It's called ninjas, dog. And we all know what's happening here. We all know what's up. It's called ninjas, and there's like what? No creatures with the ninja creature type?
Yeah, they're all rogues.
Curious. Yeah, I don't know. I like ninjas. I think that this deck is going to be weak against the same things that ninjas were weak to before. God fucking damn, I wish we could have something better than Iron Warden.
Yeah.
Especially now that they've nerfed Iron Warden. I don't know. I can't give this deck higher than a 6-5 in good conscience.
So, how do you feel about Fulfill the Contract?
Fulfill the Contract?
Yeah.
I think it's fine. Like, I think that this is a fine deck for the Satrapy land base, and if you're playing a black deck in the Satrapy land base, you're playing Fulfill the Contract just every time. It's pseudo free, but it's like not actually that free. I don't know. I think that this deck also likes having more things than just Theocracy to be doing on 3.
Yeah, and, but like
I think that it's good to have something that is stronger than fucking Iron Warden as a removal spell.
You also got Anapraxias.
Yes, I'm saying that those two cards. I think that the time of Iron Warden has long passed. I think we can move on. We can put this card to fucking bed, send it to the retirement home, whatever. But with the rest of that said, I think
I'll give it 4 chili peppers.
So it's a 6-5, but it's a 6-5 that with room for improvement, right? With significant room for improvement. So, keep your chin out. Maybe a 6 for the current pieces of clunk, but 6 with room for improvement probably could be a 6-5 or a 7, right?
I need to make a monument deck.
Wait a minute. Are they not running the bouncers?
No, they are.
They're running Shinrei. What about the other guy? What's that guy called again?
I would love to ask them about that, about Granny, but
no, I mean what's its actual name so I can search it?
It might be one of those cards with a Lackey-Bot nickname.
Okay.
Is this true?
Let's see.
Yep, it is.
Suzume something.
Suzume Oshiruko, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not running Suzume, even though it's a staple Ninja's card.
Shinrei is better.
Suzume likes to bounce at instant speed, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, Shinrei is better because it triggers a card that they shouldn't be playing, though, with fucking Iron Warden. So, I think some retooling might be in order after that, but
Yeah. Epid's playing 2 Kajawaras. And no Salome.
Deck, but with Thin the Veil, and with Celestial Banishment. I'm giving it the same rating, but I am noting the differences that make it interesting. Going all in on I instead of fucking Xanagan, because Xanagan has its problems.
I mean, they don't have Salome, so they can't exactly choose one or the other. So they decide to just go all in on one.
Well, no, Thin the Veil.
Oh, right, fair, yeah.
So no, you could do both, but I agree with Epid that I think Kajiwara I is a really, really, really powerful card.
How does that card work? It creates a soldier, and then
the soldier has a loyalty ability. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you do the -3, then now you have a soldier with a -2 loyalty ability with no loyalty on it.
Except it costs +1 to activate.
Oh, you could just +1 no matter what.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. Oh, I thought I was completely misreading the card.
Yeah, no, this card's really, really, really powerful.
I feel like the card would be clearer if it just said it costs 0 to activate. I don't know why it's +1 to activate, because I don't think the loyalty counters do anything on the creatures.
They don't, but I don't know.
They don't, and it makes stuff less clear. Yeah. But yeah, for the rest of the deck, they got... Wait, how many card types do they have for Thin the Veil?
5?
They're not playing random artifacts for...
6.
How are they getting the other card types into the graveyard.
And creature, planeswalker, instant, sorcery, enchantment. Ball's Descent and Find Happiness, both mill cards.
Yeah, but you're like...
I think the numbers might be a little suspect, I agree.
Oh, and they're also running Rot in the sideboard. So I think this is the first Rot/Singularity Grasp we've seen this entire GP, right?
We have Marina on. Oh, this deck looks like it fucks. Holy shit.
Oh, are we moving on already?
Yeah, I mean, we've already talked about this deck.
Okay, sure. Giant Poet.
Marina on a really sweet looking Fireweaver. Like, this is a deck that is a hybrid between some of the like red Culminating Chaos Mana Overflow Storm decks that we've seen, as well as the like Prescience, Ninhasir's March, red, like mid-rangey mono red shit. This looks really sweet. This looks really, really sweet.
It's big red, right?
Compliments to the show. It's big red with some notable stormy inclusions. Yes. Notably, Culminating Chaos and Mana Overflow. I don't think are standard. And I think that they're really interesting additions that let you play a million cards in a turn. Because you have such really powerful card flow pieces. Prescience, Valerie, and Tunu mean that you just have a million cards a lot of the time, and you know it goes really well with a million cards is a million mana.
And like it also doesn't have the storm problem of fizzling out because you're actually flipping actually good cards instead of just storm cards, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I really like this deck. I really hope it goes far. Really, really strong. Good shit.
Thoughts
Good shit.
about the Starlit Rays, because we don't see that card often.
I'm not sure on this particular piece attack now. I think I would rather go up on like lefts and Imperial Sieges for it. I think that I would always play the fourth Imperial Siege before the first Starlit Rays. And I think maybe more left on the waysides means you can take more advantage of Prescience, especially in a 100 card deck. Oh wait, no, but you do want to put one in the sideboard for Fireweaver. No, fair. Another choice I would love to see made would be playing Over the Rainbow in the sideboard.
Yeah.
I think this is like a really primo, like beyond or end of the rainbow deck, a really, really, really primo end of the rainbow deck. I think that you really want to be playing that. I think you probably even want to be playing another like ritual, and maybe you can move it like left on the wayside into the main if you do that.
You still want one in the sideboard though, right?
Maybe. But there's another like ritual that you can get off of this, I'm pretty sure. That you just wouldn't want to play in the main. But like no, I think that this is a perfect Beyond the Rainbow deck. Beyond that though, really strong.
Yeah, I like it. I'll give it 5 chili peppers.
Giving it a 7.25 because I think it would be a 7.5 if some improvements were made.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting. I think it's the idea of it is fun. I just don't like the style of deck. That's entirely like my bad, but
I mean, it's your own opinion, so we can't really fault you for that. Or your own preferences, I mean. So big red.
Moving on, we have the
Trappables.
We have the Sinful Tempter deck that has been submitted a bunch of times, but with Yuri, a card I think is unplayable. And with Fuel for the Fire in it, which I actually am big on.
Really? I feel like it's just worse than the Fourth Flames approach.
It's definitely worse than the Fourth Flames approach, but there's no excuse for that. There's actually just definitely be on 4 Flames approach.
They're also running Rogar's Frenzy too.
Yeah. Maybe I think this is probably too many 2-mana burn spells. Also, just separately.
Yeah.
And only playing one of the 2 available hasters is a real hard sell for me.
What do you mean 2 available hasters?
Kanon Warcaller. Warp Driver would be better than Yuri. 100 times out of 100.
Really? The War Driver kills your own Neon Claw Knights.
Yeah, and it doesn't kill your Sinful Tempters and your Profane Emissaries and your Halfords.
I don't think this deck was running Kanon War Driver before either, because they already have the Bite Blitz. Like, they have Bite Blitz and Mutationist.
I think it should be instead of Yuri. I think Yuri, whatever how it's pronounced, is bad. I think this card's unplayable.
Well, you wouldn't play it instead of Yuri. You would just play an actually other good card in the deck, right?
I think it is an actually really powerful card in this deck, and it increases the consistency of your strongest draws. And I also think this deck should be on 8 1-drops. Separately of that, because there's going to be a significant amount of games where you just don't do anything on turn 1.
I mean, would Ragavan be a better 1-drop than Reed?
No. What are you casting on 4 besides 2 Halford?
There.
Yeah.
So are you actually serious about playing Kanon War Driver into this deck?
Yes, I am dead serious as a heart attack. I think this deck should maybe be on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got Lilisaur on.
Okay, let me just fill out. So 4 Chili Peppers.
Giving us a 6/5.
I guess Cat and Tree can catch back up if they want to. Like a Black Red.
Oh, sorry. This was for Big Red. I missed one.
Someone can someone also backfill the spreadsheets that we haven't filled?
Yeah.
Okay, so Lilisaur, you can continue, Gal.
Is on the Reshaper deck. I think this deck is extremely powerful. Really, really strong shit.
They're on Seraphina's Gift's main deck now.
No, I think you do still play it main deck. You're still playing Tinker's Tools, and you're still playing your Cradles. Like, the only thing that happened to this deck is it got like 10% slower, right? Not a real number, but you understand the meaning.
Yeah.
Of it, right?
Yeah.
Like, this deck is still powerful, still fast, still scary as shit. Yeah.
So what are your thoughts about the 4 Ageless Wanderers?
I think it's a really powerful enabler of Jade Temple, right? When it's on.
Yeah.
I think this deck has enough enablers for Jade Temple that I would not feel it necessary. We'll see. It is a dork, and we are on the one Mechanomind Researcher as a threat. IMO, this deck should also be on a Shining Crusader in the main. Like 1, just because you can find it and it wins matchups.
Right.
But that's a percentage points thing, right?
Yeah.
So,
Okay, I'll give it 4 Chili Peppers 5 Chili Peppers because it's running Seraphina's Gift in the main now, I guess. Like, that's pretty fun.
Yeah, there were people experimenting with that in League a bunch after the GP. So, yeah.
Actually, no, I think it's because Marilai, like, people were playing Seraphina's Gift in Marilai, and then they realized that Seraphina's Gift is actually good.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. After the GP, people started playing it in this deck.
Yeah.
What are you dead maintaining?
Oh, right.
What's the mana thing?
Oh, the combo is you do Dimensional Reshaper to make a Dead Man's Hand make a Spirited artifact into a Dead Man's Hand, right? While the Spirited triggers on the stack.
So either Android Bodega or Abusive Forge.
Horrifying.
Yeah, and so you just get to kill your opponent.
Yeah, and
it's out of nowhere. It's really scary.
Yeah, and the deck got a huge bump because they printed actually playable spirited artifacts instead of having to run Imperial Silks.
Yeah.
But they're still running in the sideboard for some reason.
Gain life. It makes sense.
Doesn't Android Bodega also gain life?
Oh, it gains life better. Yeah. Nah, never mind then. Lol. Anyway, Clerics, another like real top tier powerful creature deck.
Yeah.
This deck is scary as fuck. It has both pseudo combo and hard combo draws. It has like really powerful big board creature kill you draws with Feradia's Anointed. It has the like burn-esque draws.
You said that they had combo draws? What's the combo draw?
Speaker of Deliverance.
They're playing that card now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaker of Deliverance is a combo enabler with Dawn Silhouette.
Does that go infinite? Oh yeah, it does go infinite.
Yep, with Dawn Silhouette, yes it does. And so, yeah.
Anything unique? No, it's the same list from last time, right? Yeah, it's probably the same. It's about the same list from last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it has an extremely strong stream of card advantage from the Sun Sigil Ordainers and the Machi Initiates. It's really really powerful at grinding, really powerful at doing these like aristocratsy burn you to death like turns and games. Really, really strong against other creature decks. Has a lot of the flexibility. I think it's comparable to Legends really, really easily.
Yeah. Actually, so a cat and a tree. Do you have any questions about this deck?
You said there was a combo. I'm trying to look for that. And I can't.
Speaker of Deliverance and Dawn Silhouette is infinite.
Do you want to explain how it works?
Sure. You Dawn Silhouette, merge it under Speaker of Deliverance, and then blink the pile.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, funnily enough, so this deck actually has, I think it's somewhat like it doesn't have a great matchup into, or it's not. I don't think this deck is advantage into the current burn deck, because
no, it's advantage into creature decks.
Yeah, but I do find it funny how like burn deck is actually favored over this deck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it is good against aggro. And speaking of burn, we have the same burn list upcoming, so we will sort of slide past that on you, Ricky.
Wait,
sorry.
Let me.
They're not playing the tech in the sideboard.
Well, no, I'm not playing the tech.
Real cards instead of riddle me this, Batman. But
I'm playing 4 Exhilarating Prescience. It's because I think Prescience is the strongest sideboard card in the deck.
Yeah, and no, of course.
And also, so I am running 3 Find Greater Purpose, but I personally don't think Find Greater Purpose is good in this deck. I feel like the version without Find Greater Purpose is better. But the reason I'm running it, and I did run it through League, and it felt like the Find Greater Purposes weren't really finding their purpose. But the reason I'm running it right now is because, I mean, might as well test it out. Get bigger sample size.
I think you need to become more willing to like sacrifice permanence.
And also, it's a win-win for me because if I lose, then I can say definitively that Find Greater Purpose is not great in this deck. And if I win, then I get GP promo.
This is a bad way to evaluate cards. Moving on to the last deck. We have another Fuel for the Fire deck. I don't love it in here, but
I mean, it's. Wait, are they running it in the sideboard? No,
in the main deck.
It's instant. Where is it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see it now. It's sorted weirdly.
This is the Megalo Kraken deck, a deck I am big on, but with some clunkier choices than before.
It's also Jeskai now.
It's Jeskai now, yeah, and I think that is behind a number of these clunkier choices. I imagine we're Jeskai to try out Event Horizon and like Amaret, but I'm not huge on this Jeskai angle. But I think other than that, the deck is still the same archetype.
They're running 4 Pact to the Moon's main deck to absolutely dunk on aggro decks.
Yeah, I can respect it. I just am not sure if it's good enough to be in Jeskai. Or and like the cards you got out of your other color options are really strong. But
Bodied Soul was interesting.
It's the Megalocrack. Oh, you get to play Embodied Soul in here, yeah, which is a hit on Megalocrack, and I can see it. But like I have my thoughts on this deck. Fairly sorted. I think I've gone over it a little bit before.
They're also running Furious Blow. I don't think I've seen this card before.
Furious Blow is interesting. It looks for Amaret Planeswalkers.
Is that good?
No, I don't think it is, but maybe I'm underselling it. But I just can't see a world where I'm excited to be registering this card and like tutoring these like I like that it gets card advantage from the graveyard, but I don't think this archetype's problem was ever a lack of card advantage, right? A lack of accessible card advantage. Like the card quality on this card is.
I mean, I guess you sort of get the bonus of like if you flip this thing off Megalocrack, then late game you get to grab the big Amaret and lock up the game or something.
Yeah, but like I am just not sure if this like is worth the drop in card quality that like you are so clearly going to have to undertake. Right?
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents at least.
I really like this deck. I think it's really fun.
I think that this I like the deck too. I just am not sure if it's better than its previous iterations.
Wait, how's this deck going to get up its permanent count for Event Horizon?
You don't. You look at your opponent.
Hope your opponent.
Then shouldn't you be running main decks Journey's End instead? If you can't reliably turn this thing on yourself?
No, I can see it. Like I can see it. Yeah, if that's the last one, then I think we are just about done. A stream fraught with exceptional technical issues that will hopefully be resolved going forward.
Can we fill out the spreadsheet because we're still missing a bunch of names and decks?
Yeah, you can do that off of stream or while the stream is closing out, but I will be heading out.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for watching the VOD. If you're watching the VOD, post the VOD, Ricky. We're not planning on it. And otherwise, see you.
Also, Cat in a Tree. Thanks for joining us as a new player. We like to see your perspective on things.
Yeah, shout out the new players. Shout out this month's new players. Shout out CatCon just because I want to. Yeah.
What do you think about the format so far, Cat?
I've liked the decks I've played against.
Okay, that's good.
That's a good sign.
Yeah,
that's MSEM strong suit is all the decks fucking rule.
Yeah, good thing you joined the format after the deck that can discard lock people or can draw step lock people.
That deck was also fucking cool. It was just too strong and had some unfortunate play patterns, but it was
that
fucking
like
cool.
the weird bounce deck.
Yeah, Esper Kalen.
That deck was really fucking cool. It was just like
I'm glad I play of that in standard. I don't need any more in.
Wait, there's a draw step block in standard?
It's not a draw step deck. There's just a deck that is about bouncing enchantments.
Deck.
It's a really sweet deck.
It's cool, but I don't want to play any of it.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, with that, we'll call it here. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the games.